Well, let's talk about what's happening on the 9th of November, shall we, David? Because that is something really special happening for not only you, Rita, but for all of your fans and future fans. And you're giving a recital in the Broadwalk Theatre.
That's right.
The Opera House.
Yes.
Go on.
Well, a gentleman had been ringing up the Opera House publicity department for a long time saying, when is she going to sing? He was a fan, obviously, and I'm not booked to sing there this year or next year. And he got very cross. He said, well, then if they won't put her on, I will. And he's backing me to do this recital. And I don't know who he is.
Isn't that wonderful?
He or she is.
Oh, yes, it could be a lady. Everybody keeps saying, hey. Maybe that's to egg me along.
David tells me they have a special name. They're called angels.
That's right.
An angel has hired the Opera House Broadwalk Studios for Rita Hunter to give a recital.
That's right.
Do they come along very often, these angels?
No. Not to sponsor individual people. I mean, you get big firms sponsoring an opera, but very, very rare, almost never, I would think.
Yes. Well, it obviously hasn't happened to you before.
No way, no. I think it's wonderful.
Has he made, or she, he or she made requests for you to sing certain
only one. He or she. Now you've really confused us. Now
They
asked for Trovatore, an aria from Trovatore, which apparently is their favourite Rita Hunter role. So we are including that.
Yes. And have you worked out what else you'll be singing?
Oh, yes. Turandot, the big aria from Turandot, the gallows aria from Mars Ball, and something which I've never sung before, which is a little bit of Traviata.
That's wonderful. And that's all happening on the 9th of November.
It's happening on that's Sunday week, on the 9th of November, at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. I mean, as we say, Rita has one of the great voices, and it will be a terrific afternoon. I would think there'd be a great informality, because knowing this one, even though she'll be up there singing her heart out, there'll be a great atmosphere in the theatre as well. And as we say, it's one of the great voices, and she's singing all the great songs, Maureen.
Yes.
We sing, we welcome the hope that they bring, of a summer of roses and wine, of a summer
The superb voice of Australian opera singer Rita Hunter, and she'll be heard at the Opera House this Sunday, courtesy of a secret admirer. He's paid out thousands of dollars just so he can sit back and hear his idol sing. Rita has no idea who he is. Good evening and welcome to TWT. Later, the story of Rita Hunter's secret admirer. Well, it's not very often in current affairs that we get the opportunity to present a story with romance and intrigue, but this is such a story. The romance is provided by a fan of opera singer Rita Hunter. He is so enamoured with her singing, he's putting on a concert at the Opera House this Sunday to feature the talents of his idol. He just wants to sit back and listen to her sing. The mystery is that the young man putting on the concert is keeping his identity from Rita. She has no idea who he is. But TWT's Morris Parker was able to track down Rita Hunter's #1 fan.
As we merrily dance and we sing, we welcome the hope that they bring, of a summer of roses and wine.
Take a famous Australian opera singer, a mystery man who for this story we'll call the Phantom of the Opera, add a touch of mystery and imagination, a hint of romance, and you have the makings of a love story that Mills and Boon would be proud of.
We welcome the hope that they bring, of a summer of roses and wine, of a summer of roses and wine.
It all began when
The gentleman approached the Opera House and he asked the people who are in the public relations department of the Opera House when I would be singing again this season, and they said I wasn't. And then he said, what about next year? And again they said she's not singing next year in the Australian Opera. And he said, well, if they won't put her on, I will.
enter the third party, that pillar of strength, the mediator, who helped bring these two people together. And it was none other than the publicity department of the Sydney Opera House.
I mean, how many of us can say that we've got someone ready to bankroll us because they love our voice? I think it's very romantic.
Has this ever been done before?
No, not to my knowledge. Certainly not at the Opera House.
Now for a touch of mystery.
They rang me up in Brisbane and said, look, we hate this cloak and dagger business, but he wants to remain anonymous. Do you mind? I said, not at all. I just thought it was absolutely fantastic that anybody loved me and my voice that much that wanted, put himself out in this way financially.
Have you any idea who this mystery man is?
Not at all. And, of course, at the beginning we went through, I wonder if it's so-and-so, because I obviously have a lot of fans. But he just wishes to remain anonymous. They said that I do know him, but I'm not quite sure if it's a case of know him personally, as I'm speaking to you, or whether it's know of him. But apparently, I mean, when I see him at the end of the concert, I'll say, oh, it's you, because I would obviously recognize him.
Keeping his face hidden but his emotions showing, the Phantom of the Opera sung his praise to the woman and the voice which led him out of hiding.
When was the first time you saw Rita on stage?
Would have been in Il Trovatore, and I was just awestruck by the power of the voice and the dramatic art. I haven't always been a fan of opera, but what I am a fan of is talent, and Rita's got an enormous amount of talent, and that talent is being wasted.
Do you think she has any idea that you're the one putting up the money for this?
I don't think so. I certainly hope not, because it is a surprise, and I'd like to keep it as such.
Would you describe yourself as one of her biggest fans, her best fan?
Not necessarily the biggest or the best, but I think it's one of the many.
Does she know you?
Yes.
It's tormenting in a way. It's tantalising not to know, but I just think it's fantastic. It really is.
Rita, I know you're happily married. How does your husband look upon this unknown man?
Oh, he thought I was joshing him. He really... he didn't believe it. I mean, none of us did at first, And until about a fortnight ago, we really thought, it still is a hoax, because it's a very unusual thing to do, not to want to be known, to say, I'll be the prince to the showgirl, as it were, But he thinks it's fantastic, obviously, because he also likes to hear me sing.
When will you actually meet her, before the concert or after the concert?
After the concert.
Do you know what you're going to say to her?
Probably hello, and thank you for a wonderful concert.
How do you think you'll react when you first meet him?
Oh, I'd give him a big kiss.
Then it may become romantic.
Oh, yeah, then you never know, yes.
He may be watching right now.
Yes.
What would you like to say to him if you had the chance to meet him right this very moment?
I think he's fantastic. I really do. And I wish that other singers had the same sort of backing, the same sort of... But he wants nothing. He doesn't want anything from it, you see. This is what is so marvellous.
There's a good chance that Rita's now watching this interview. Do you want to give away any clues?
No, I don't want to give away anything. The only thing I'd like to say is put on a wonderful concert for everyone.
And Rita will have trouble picking out her secret admirer during the concert, because he'll be amongst the 300 people who will fill the Broadwalk studio at the Opera House on Sunday, and it is a full house.